Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And look who we have here, Miss Tambra Cherie. Okay. And we learned this past episode that it is Tambra and Cherie. Okay.
Married. Married. Hey, Richie. It is married.
So, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here today. We have been watching you guys on this show, and we all are huge fans, and we have been bugging Carlos about bringing y'all back, okay? And y'all have not disappointed yet. But before we get into all of that, okay, for me, you hold a special place in my heart because
Thank you.
you come
Thank you.
from the radio and the talk space. Was that something that you always knew that you wanted to do?
Actually, the answer would be yes to an
Okay.
extent
Okay.
because you have to think about it. I went to college thinking I wanted to be in corporate America.
Yeah.
I actually have my MBA degree.
Oh, okay.
My major was not communication, but
Oh,
as
interesting.
I know, right? I used to intern at corporations and I would finish the work so fast and so quickly, I would start looking up entertainment news. I'm
Ooh.
listening to music all day. So that was my passion. That's what I loved to do. So I interned at a radio station. And once I interned at a radio station, I found my happy place. It was exactly what I wanted to do. And the rest was history.
When you intern, what did they have you doing? I just want to know because when I feel like they be talking about intern at the radio station, right? Because I my degree was in communications, and they talked about interning at the radio station. I was like, and they was like, oh, you're gonna be sweeping the floors. I was like, I'm not doing that.
I know, right? Well, honestly, one of my duties was looking up entertainment news. One of my
Okay.
duties
Okay.
was, yes, one of my duties was looking up entertainment news. And to be honest, as an intern, I was on overnight. They had me recording overnight. So I used to come
Really?
on from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. That's where I started overnight. And I was in college at the time. And at the same time, I was also doing television. I was doing a television program that was a local television program. So I was going to different events, different concerts and parties, and I was interviewing artists at the same time. So that's how I gained my experience. I was creating my own experience at the time. And I didn't even realize that. But I knew I loved what I did. I loved it. Like I love people. I'm a people person. I used to go to Jackson State University games and just interview people that were tailgating. I used to do things like that. So I love people. So that's
Okay.
how I pretty much started my start in the entertainment industry. And I used to write for allhiphop.com. I used to write for Ozone Magazine. Yes. A lot of people don't realize that. So I used to write for our local paper. I used to write the entertainment and fashion
Wow.
column in our local paper. So that's how I started.
So you've been in it, okay? You
Yes,
have
since
been in
college.
it. And I told you, I think I said it before this, but again, it holds a special place in my heart because I understand that world and I know what the work is like. And when people talk about working from like 12 midnight to 5 a.m., that's when you are really in the trenches. So I am super excited about all of your success. And how do you like? I know we've heard a lot about you on the radio on the show, but how do you like doing Dish Nation? What is that like?
I love Dish Nation. Like I love it. When I tell you, Richie, it is absolutely amazing. It is a great opportunity. I absolutely love it. Like to be in a room because, of course, I'm on the radio by myself. I have my DJ, but
Yeah.
to be in a place where all they want you to do is be you, and then they want you to pretty much you have great personalities all around you. So you have all this great talent around you. They're full of energy. So yeah, I love that. Like, I love that. And they just want you to be you and have a good time. That's all they want from you. They don't want anything else. Have a good time. Be you. Enjoy yourself. So that's what I love about Dish Nation. That's all. It doesn't come with instructions. It doesn't come with any of that. They want your opinion. That's the only thing that matters. Be you. And then you're around amazing talent around you, and they just don't do anything but bring the greatness out of you. Like, you feed off of their energy, because everyone that I have sat with has great energy. The very first time I filled in, I was filling in for the Brat, and Eva sat next to me. And
how was that?
It was good. It was really good. Next time I filled in for the Brat, Portia sat next to me. And I like to tell people, Portia was amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. She was so helpful. Like, she was telling me, hey, let's do this. She was very helpful. And that's amazing when you find that in other Black women. I love that. So right now, Portia can do no wrong. I know how Portia was very helpful when the cameras were off and no one was looking. That shows your character. When no one is watching, that shows your character. That shows who you are. So I absolutely love it. Dish Nation is amazing. The producers are amazing. I absolutely love that show. And of course, Gary. Anytime I'm with Gary, I've been co-hosting with Gary Rock the Runway, our fashion show, for like the past 10 years. He's absolutely amazing. We do a good job together. Like, I love his energy. We have become friends and great co-workers.
You know what I love that you said? It's a couple of things. I mean, a lot of little nuggets that you just talked about. But, for a lot of us growing up and wanting to do almost traditional news, because that's what we were taught back in the day, right? Not these different types of outlets that we have now, like a Dish Nation. And we think, especially as a Black person, right? For me personally, at times was always made to feel like I could be the only Black person in the room. Number one. Number two, that you have to be so stiff. And even now, when somebody tells me, "Oh, just be yourself," that's all we want. That's a relief. And people don't realize that is not always the case.
That's true. That's true. That is so true. So that's what I do love about it. You can honestly be yourself. They do not want anything else but be you and your opinion. Because now I will tell you this, on that show, if you don't have an opinion, it's going to be just like you were not there. They will edit you right on out. That's the truth. If you do not have an opinion, it's going to be just like you were not there. You will get edited right out, and they'll go right over. You be like, I thought you were on. Yeah, you have to have an opinion. You have to be able to speak up for yourself. You have to have an opinion.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And we know you got some opinions, about Belle Collective season 2. I just think that I want to ask you, when it was time to come back to the show, like when it was time to start filming again, were you all in? Were you hesitant? Like, what was your frame of mind coming back into season 2?
Oh, no, I definitely was all in for sure coming into season 2. I enjoyed season 1. I enjoyed season 1. Like, it was fun. It was a good time. And especially, we were still in a pandemic during that time. You have to remember that. Like, the first time I actually came out was for Belle Collective.
Wow.
Yes.
And you know what's funny? We wouldn't have even known that. I didn't even think, because we've been in it so long, I never even put 2 and 2 together that y'all were filming during the pandemic.
Yes, we were. Like, we were actually we had the option for radio, and I will thank God, like, our radio station never did shut down. We did become a place that was for information, and people were looking for information. People were, wanting to feel motivated, encouraged at the same time, because it was just so much going on. So I thank God that we never did shut down, but we had the option to work remotely because no one wanted to get sick. I am still one of those people, that's where my immunity T comes from. I'm still one of those people. I've never had COVID. I've never had COVID. I haven't had the flu in years. I can't get sick. I talk for a living. I do not have a backup person. I'm the only female at my station. So I cannot get sick. So we had the option of working remotely. So during that time, when Belle Collective came about, I actually was at home when I received the call. And it was exciting. Yes, it was exciting because, come on, to be honest with you, I was already familiar with Carlos and his work. So that was exciting. And then anytime you hear the Oprah Winfrey Network, it's exciting. Exactly. And for me, someone that's in entertainment, it's an easy yes. It is an easy yes. So it was an easy yes for me. Yes, absolutely. And let me tell you a secret. A lot of people do not know. At the top of the year, I do a vision board for myself. Every year. At the top of that year, before Belle Collective, I knew anything about Belle Collective. At the top of the year, I do a vision board, and I wrote a book. I have a book, Surrounded by Sin, Grounded by Love. 8 Simple Keys to Becoming a Better You. On that, my vision board for that particular year, I have Oprah and I have OWN on my vision board. In my mind, I'm thinking because Oprah has a book club that I'm like, I want to get the book. I wanted to get the book to Oprah. I didn't know anything about Belle Collective. I didn't know anything about it, but OWN and Oprah, they were on my vision board, but for different reasons. So when I tell you God has a plan for you and it can be a different plan from yours, be careful what you put on your vision board.
Okay.
You're going to get it, but not just quite the way that you thought you would get it. And it's a big platform. So I'm thankful for the opportunity because I know it was nothing but God.
Amen to that. Because
yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely.
huge.
Absolutely.
I always when I do these interviews, I always hope it always happens. It never fails. I always am hoping for the audience to come away with something that can motivate them. And I appreciate you giving them that because I feel like it's so important. We talk about entertainment and all of this and stuff like that. But when people leave the channel, I do want them to feel good. And I appreciate you saying that and sharing that story because it's impactful and it means something.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And for me, Richie, to be honest with you, no matter what I do, at the end of the day, like today, I told you, this is why I look like this. We've been in a water crisis pretty much in the city of Jackson. I live in Jackson. I work in Jackson. So it affects us directly. I'm a part of this community. So this is why I look like this to the audience.
First of all, squad, let me tell y'all something. I said, girl, you look good. What are you talking about?
But this is what I look like. We have definitely been out delivering water. One thing I can say about the city of Jackson, we come together and make it work. Yeah. So that's important. When we deal with issues like these, we can come together as a community and we're going to get in the streets. I delivered water to a woman yesterday, and I'll be honest, I had tears in my eyes when I left because she had no water and she had 3 young children in her home. But I'm saying this to say, because I'm there delivering her water and she was so shocked and happy and surprised, I forget I'm on TV. I'm a servant. Like first and foremost, that comes first. I'm here to help you when you need me the best way that I can. So I didn't think about that when I'm in the streets and I'm helping people. Like she thought about that, but that didn't come to my mind. So I say that to say at the end of the day, one of my platforms, I'm a servant first. That's a part of why. And this platform, if it provides even a bigger platform for me to help other people, I am all for it.
It's so I love that because for so many of us, it is really truly about doing the work, right? And so it is probably easy to forget, like, oh, I'm on TV too. They hear my voice on the radio every day because this is what you love, you know what I'm saying? And this is what you do. So I totally identify with that. But now, I got some questions for you. Okay.
Yes, Richie. Yes. And I'm going to answer the best I can.
Okay. I already told you, what you can't answer. We'll come back later. All right.
Okay. Oh, you're going to definitely have me again because you're going to want to.
Absolutely. I already know, but I didn't want to wait either. You know what I'm saying? Because my goal was just to be transparent. I said, I'm gonna drop an interview every episode that I possibly can because I feel like I want people to watch this show. I'm gonna drop them on Fridays, remind people that the show is coming out on Friday night because I just feel like that's what we need to be doing. We need to be supporting our Black shows and our Black television. So that's the reason why. And I wanted to wait for you until this part came up because I knew I was gonna have questions. And,
thank you.
And speaking of that,
okay,
let's talk about you and Devon.
Okay.
So I think for me and for the audience, can you tell us what over the course of the past however many years, what has been your relationship? Because for me as a viewer, I wasn't sure if you guys were kind of like on and off, right? Or like best friends who maybe used to date and then decided that you would come together because you both had a mutual interest in having a child and you might raise it together but may not be together.
Okay.
Or were you guys on and off and now it's back on?
We were in a relationship for so many years. And I think that's where you're asking where it started. I met him in college at Jackson State University. And
Okay.
Devon is a little older than I am. But I met him in college. So that's where it actually started, to be honest with you. Now, what you don't know is that we were broken up for almost 5 years.
Okay.
So when you see us coming back together, that's actually a real thing.
So
we haven't been together. Exactly. The first season, go back to first season. If you read the title, he's my ex-boyfriend.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
So we were not together during that first season.
Oh.
We have been apart for 5 years. I was dating other people.
Gotcha.
So when you see us coming back together, it's like we sat down, and I will be honest, Devon, he never really stopped pursuing. You know, I just respected if I was back dating and I respected that. So when he did, you know, come back to like, and I would say we always stayed friends, but he kind of always wanted to be more than friends. I'll say that. Like always. It was like, okay, we'll do this again. We'll try it again. We'll see how this goes this time at this moment, because in 5 years, you grow a lot. I know I did, and he did too. You grow a lot.
Yeah.
And especially when you're not in a relationship with someone, you grow a lot. 5 years is a long time to grow. It's a long time to grow. I'm not the same girl and the same girlfriend I was to you 5 years ago. I'm just not. I'm not the same woman. I'm not the same person. I want different things. You know, back then it was okay. Like, you know, I'm in entertainment. I was having a good time. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was having an amazing time. I was in college, but right out of college, you have to think about, I got into radio. I put my career first. I am one of those women. I've never been focused on a man. And that's the truth. You know, I hustled myself. I didn't depend on a man to do that for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to be successful myself. So my focus was never on a man or a relationship, because I always feel like, and I still feel like this, like men they're everywhere. I still feel that way. No offense, that men are everywhere. There are still very good men out here. You know, I still feel that way. And I tell women that all the time. So, but I've never been the one to focus on a man. I just have not. And focus on that. You know, I became busy and I became having a good time and having fun. And now I will say my relationship kept me grounded, for sure. Definitely. My relationship definitely kept me grounded. I can't say that. But, you know, when you get to life moves fast. You know, 15, 16 years goes by fast when you're having a good time. And in the industry that I'm in, you don't realize how much time has passed. You just don't.
Wow.
You just don't. And I've been told that in relationships, you know, you don't spend enough time with me. You know, you don't make time for me. I've been told that a lot. I have. I really have. And that's because, you know, at the end of the day, I love what I do. And because I was putting other things first, I put people before myself. I want to see other people happy, sometimes more than I wanted to see myself. Yeah. I want to make sure other people are good. If I have $1, I'm going to give you $1 if it's my last dollar, because one thing I know, I will get it back. You may not can get that dollar. I've always felt that way. So I can be honest, I can be guilty. I was focused on my community. I'm focused on what I'm doing. I'm focused on helping people. That's where my mind frame is, building what I want to do and loving what I do. I love what I do. So in so many years, that became my priority. And I didn't realize, you know, time goes by. It goes by. It really does. And at the same time, I was dealing with other things. We'll talk about that. Fibroid. And for a woman, you know, guess what? When that comes to play, you know, time is just not on your side. And I had to learn that the hard way.
Wow. So what made, and I know that, what made this time with him different for you and for him?
Growth.
Okay.
Growth, for sure. Goals, you know, being in a different place, you know, just being in a different place. We've never had, and I'll say this, like, you know, we've never had issues with a woman in our relationship. Our relationship would be something else for sure. It would be different opinions. It would be, I am the one that goes to church every single Sunday. I love church. I do. The person that I date, I've always wanted them to love the same thing.
Right.
It would be disagreements like that. Well, if you can get up and go to church, you know, you may need to rethink that. It would be disagreements. And this is me being honest with you. And this is just being open to even relationships as women. You know, we want to find people that we love doing the same thing. And for me, and it's not the fact that, you know, you don't put God first. It's not that at all. But I enjoy time in church. That's a part of who I am. So, you know, even little things that we don't think about, I would want the person that I'm dating to be in church just as much as I am.
Right. Understandable. You know, that's a whole conversation right there, because I always believe that, you know, in a relationship, you kind of want to be equally yoked in those core areas, because otherwise it's really not going to work. And you can try as hard as you may, but the square does not fit into the round circle. Okay. it just won't work. But you spoke about it was never other women. Okay. Watching Taisha tell Letitia, okay, what she is alleging is some sort of thing with her and Devon. And then I want you to take me back to living it. I know you can't tell me about living in any future moment, but now you see it, that moment on TV. And now we've seen Letitia tell you this information, and we've seen Aikisha tell you this information. What is going through your head then, and what's going through your head now?
What was going through my head when I saw it on television?
Yeah. Because sometimes I think you weren't privy to that scene.
I wasn't. So when I did see it, it was shocking for me because she left out a lot of information. It left out, she forgot that we all were friends, that we all were cool. So for you to say that you were only friends, that my friend for so many years, and this is someone that I consider myself very cool with too. You've had me host your events. You've had me at your birthday party. I've given you Christmas cards. Like, we were all cool at one point. Like, so, and this is during the time that you're talking about you were friends with him. And so when you hear me saying that I've heard so many conversations, that's because you were on speakerphone talking to him, but I'm there. When you're texting, like it was never a private conversation like that. And, you know, I've heard so many conversations that I've never questioned her relationship with him ever. And that's just being honest in real life. I've never questioned her relationship with him ever. She gave me no reason to question their friendship because we had mutual friends at that time. And keep in mind, we're talking about, and you see Tisha say, oh, I'm not talking about now, because everything we're talking about is in the past.
Gotcha.
Everything. We have not spoken to this woman in over a year.
Okay, so because she was kind of she asked Letitia, well, you should ask Tambra if she has a problem with me, and I'm like,
right, I've never had a problem with her. Exactly. It throws you off. But at the same time, when people want to be a Belle and they want attention, they're going to say anything to get their story out. And that's just the truth. That's
Okay.
just to be honest.
Okay. And so then as Aikisha is telling you, because Aikisha doesn't give you as much of the story. She only can give you as much as she knows, right? What were you thinking in that moment? Like, did you have any clue that it was Taisha? I can't even remember if she's called her name at that moment.
I knew exactly who it was, because there is much, you have to think about it. Like, I do radio. People call me and tell me things. So I knew that it was nothing that was going on presently. I knew that someone was definitely wanting a moment and attention. And I was given that early on.
Tambra, you been getting the tea.
I was told that very early on. Like, because nothing is, I'm just being honest. Like, how much of this tea do you want, Richie?
Listen,
How much do you want?
It over here.
Because I may be too honest for you. I may just be a little bit too honest, and I may say too much. But I want you to continue to watch the show and see how it plays out. But one thing you will know is that I wouldn't be with someone who would disrespect me and cheat on me with people I know. And when we're together, like, that's what you have to know about me. Tambra has the gift of goodbye, and I am very good at that. Very. I've done it before, so why wouldn't I do it again? Like, unfortunately, I guess people can say I am one of those girls. I can stop talking to you on Tuesday. I'm dating someone next Wednesday. Like, I'm just being honest. I have the gift of goodbye. And that's very, very big for me as far as when it comes to respect and having boundaries in relationships.
So when Letitia said that she wasn't buying it, why do you think she said that?
I have no idea, because but in Letitia's defense, I've been hosting Letitia's brunches maybe 2016, 2017. Devon and I were not together.
Okay.
We weren't together in the entire time that I've known Letitia.
Gotcha.
Until now.
Okay, so she's really kind of only going on the one aspect of the person who knows him in whatever way she's claiming to know him. And that's
correct. Like, we never talked about, we were not the two to talk about relationships. When Letitia and I actually met, we talked about helping women in the community. We talked about brunches. How can we come together? How can we get a message out? How can we uplift the community? These are the type of conversations Letitia and I have had together. Our talks are different. We're not talking about men. We're not talking about your relationship. I didn't even know Letitia was married until I was hosting one of her brunches, and Glenn comes in with power. That's how I learned about her relationship, because we talk different. When you have women that are dedicated to a mission, your conversation is different. So our conversation has always been different. We talk about getting things done. I was the keynote speaker at one of Letitia's brunches. That's the things that we talk about. How can we help women? How can we come together? How can we get together and do this plan and this plan? Those are the conversations that we have. I prayed with Letitia on the phone. Our conversations are different. They're not about men. They're not about gossip. Like, our conversations are very different. We're not up talking about people. If we're talking about people, we're talking about how can we help people in our community or help women. Our missions our conversations just hit different, to be honest with you.
Okay. So I do have another question that was kind of thrown out there in the middle of brunch. I don't know if you can answer this or not, because I know the producer asked you. So I'm going to ask you too. Did Aikisha call somebody ugly at the brunch? And if she did, who did she call ugly?
I'm going to say that it was not said that way.
Okay.
It was not said that way. It wasn't said that way. And I don't want to take you away from you watching the rest of the season.
So that's
So
gonna
that's
come up.
one of those questions that I definitely would tell you, continue to watch the show and just kind of continue to see how it plays out. But I can say it was not said in that way. It was not said to be, oh, I'm downing you. Like it wasn't even said in those words, you
Okay.
know?
Okay.
But it was the way that something was said. It was the way that something was said off of something else. You know, she didn't know the girls at the time. She didn't know anyone. She didn't know any of the ladies yet. I mean, this was so far back, like to something else that she saw somewhere else. Kind of like, let me explain. It's going to come out. Like, watch
Okay.
the rest of the season, watch the reunion, like, you know, and you'll kind of better understand. Have me back when I can talk a little more, and you'll definitely understand. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's one of those cliffhangers. I don't want to spoil that at all.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you. I got two more main. Well, okay, three more main questions, and then we
Okay.
can.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay. Um, was the producer laughing when the producer asked Damon and you in the confessional about the whole situation? Because he was like, not here for producer.
Well, let me say that particular producer who did ask him, that's where a lot of this producer would not even speak to Damon. Let's start there. So Damon is a real man. So when you have someone, the only time they speak to you is when they want something from you. That's a problem. You know, that's a problem. You have someone who did not even talk to Damon, who walked right past him and would not speak to him unless she needed something from him. So let's start there. So as a man, he's like, this lady does not even talk to me. She doesn't speak. She just looks at him crazy. Like, so it wasn't like the best person to have him asking any questions for him, to be honest.
Gotcha.
It wasn't the best person to have him asking questions from him. So when you and as a man, if you think that I'm going to feel, you know, if you're coming for me in a certain type of way, he's going to be defensive. Because first off, you wouldn't even talk to him. You wouldn't even speak to him when you saw him on set.
Wow.
So it did create not the most comfortable situation.
Okay, so that gives better context into why he responded the way that he responded. Because I was thinking, like, well, maybe the producer was laughing because they really didn't take any of it seriously. You know, because you kind of was like,
Mm-hmm.
girl, bye with that. And so I thought maybe that was what was going on, but that gives us greater context. The other question I want to ask you is, I know you can't tell us what happened at the reunion, but Carlos posted that there was a reunion, so I know that it happened. So I feel like I can ask you this question. Who has the best moment at the reunion?
Woo! It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't So Gucci. It wasn't Akeisha. No. Ooh. It wasn't even. It wasn't even Latrice. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Process of elimination.
We got two people left. That leaves Marie and
Process of
Leticia.
elimination. Like it was definitely heated. So I don't know how much that you all will be able to see. Richie, I don't know how much you all will be able to see if you want me to be honest. We may need to have like a conversation about that.
We gonna definitely have to have a conversation
Yeah,
about
I
that.
have no clue how much you will be able to see on national television. And that's just being honest, because it was very, very hot and heated. And there were some good moments. I got to say that too. There were still some good moments. But yes, I don't know how much you will see on how much you will be able to see on national TV, but I'm quite sure they're going to do a very good job of what they have, what they can show. It's going to be chopped and screwed and edited. It's going to be chopped They're gonna have to do karate on that thing, honey. They're gonna have to do some karate on it. So when Carlos posted, yes, he posted the real, like what it felt like for him sitting in that moment. And even myself, I was thrown back. I was shocked at some of the things that I learned. I was shocked, I really was. So yeah, I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but it's gonna be chopped, screwed, cut up to the best of their ability. They are going. That editing team is going to be put to work. So it was a lot. Carlos told the truth. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. So for sure. And I will be honest, like even just throughout this entire season, it's a great show. Like Belle Collective is amazing. This season is amazing. I enjoyed last season too, but this season is amazing. It definitely has more drama. I will be honest, I was told to bring it this season. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have drama last season. I didn't have drama. I just don't have a lot of drama in my life. I pray about things like that. Like,
okay.
So it's okay that God keeps his promises, honey. Like it's okay. It's okay that God keeps his promises for sure. For sure. But yes, the reunion is going to be spicy. Spicy. Okay. The rest of the season is spicy. The rest of the season is spicy for sure. Like it's a great show. I love the fact that we can actually showcase strong Black women doing amazing things in the city of Jackson. And we can highlight all these different places. You've finally been to Jackson yourself. The first thing you want to see was Ferry Street.
I've been telling this community, I said, the bus drove by Ferry Street and I said, no, wait a minute.
Yes. You had to get out and touch it.
Yes, I did. Yes. I had to get out and feel the history, and you can feel it. I want to ask you before we go, anything that what do you have coming up next? Because I know you are quite booked and busy.
Yes. Well, I'm headed to Miami. I have an event to host, so I would actually miss this week's episode. I will miss it when it airs as far as being able to talk and, go back and forth, just being able to communicate with everyone. I'm in Miami hosting an event Labor Day weekend, of course, and excited about that. Just came back from Fort Lauderdale, hosting an amazing event with some very great entrepreneurs in Fort Lauderdale. I thought they was absolutely amazing. So I am thankful for every opportunity that I have because I genuinely love people. I love to see people happy. I love to see people having a good time. Like that's just me. I love good energy. I love that. I really do. And one thing I can always say for me, and I think I told you this before, every platform has a purpose. For me, every platform has to have a purpose. We're great. We entertain you. I love the fact that we entertain, but at the same time, we want to motivate, inspire, encourage. We want to do all of those things. And of course, I can't say this, amazing things that my immunity tea, which is my favorite immunity tea, it's doing amazing right now. Yes, when I tell you I had orders to come in from all across the country, and that's because of Belle Collective. And I know that, I am one of those people. That's something else that came about. Health and wellness is very important to me. I watch what I put in my body. That's important to me. I have to stay healthy. I don't have a backup. Like that's important to me. And in this day and time, it should be important to everyone. So I'm all about preaching that message as well. Keeping our immune systems, steady boosting our immune systems anytime we get a chance. That's important.
And we'll put the website down in the description, but can you give them the website right now just so that anybody who's maybe listening on their phone?
Oh, absolutely, because I do think that is important. Continue to boost your immune system even if you are healthy. Continue to boost your immune system. The website, you can actually order from my website, www.TambraCherie.com, and just click shop. So yes, and it's a Yes. So that's what I have that's going on now. And of course, everything I'm doing, I'm just in a season where I'm happy. I love what I'm doing. I love that now, we're able to talk more about Belle Collective and what went on this season. Continue to watch the show. But for me, I will say this, and I will say this as it gets to reunion. I am the person that I would never want to see, or in my hand, I would never want to, downgrade another Black woman, period, on national television for me. But at the same time, when you come with a fire, you cannot dictate how I give the smoke back to you that comes with it. So keep that in mind.
We're going to leave it at that, y'all. That you have just left us wanting more. And I don't think y'all, like every interview I do, y'all always leave me with something at the end. I'll be like, okay, you end credits, roll them. Okay. And we will have to have you back to also kind of clear up anything else and just kind of chat about the reunion, other stuff that you have going on that we didn't get today.
For sure. And I'll be able to talk so much more. Richie, for sure. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to come back. I cannot wait to come back.
We cannot wait. Listen, Skye Squad, all of Tambra's information will be in the description. Tambra, thank you so much. And Skye
Thank you, Richie. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. We really do.
Oh, listen, I appreciate y'all because y'all give us great television. And of course, it's my I don't want to say it's my obligation, but I feel like it is my duty to shine a spotlight on amazing shows, especially featuring African Americans, Black people, people of color, women. Yes. That's super important to me. So no need to thank me because I feel like this is what God told me to do. So with that being said, we will catch you guys in the next video.